you are going to see next on your television screens are images of unspeakable brutality of the Pakistani forces. A ghastly cold-blooded execution of a Baloch activist, the latest among the string of atrocities that have left the world stunned. Pakistan's dirty war in Balochistan lies exposed in front of the world.
Shot 8 times in the head and chest and abandoned in a Pakistani desert. This video of cold-blooded murder by Pakistan government forces in the country's troubled Balochistan province is shocking the world. Pakistan's brutal oppression of the ethnically unique Balochi people has remained mostly hidden from the world. The savage reality unmasked very rarely, like in this new video. Look closely at the cold-blooded sequence of events. First, 4 unmarked Pakistan government security vehicles arrive, with Balochi prisoners bundled inside. Then 3 Pakistan personnel take a prisoner and walk a few meters away from the vehicles as a Pakistan soldier films from his mobile. The 3 men remove their prisoners blindfold. Two soldiers walk away. The third fires 3 shots at the Balochi activist, sending him crashing to the ground. Then he approaches his victim to shoot 4 more bullets into his head. As he leaves, he decides to make absolutely sure, so he walks back for a final shot to the head. But it doesn't end there. The killer takes out his mobile phone for a photo souvenir of his victim. Then a second soldier does the same. There's a reason why Balochistan's insurgency against Pakistan's dirty war has intensified in recent months. With activists crying hoarse about the cloak of silence, a terrifying, dark and ruthless repression is visible only in such rare glimpses on video. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, let's connect to Tariq Fatah. He is author columnist, but he is also a Balochistan activist. He's joining us from Toronto. Mr. Fatah, you know, there is reason enough, the reason why you're joining us from Toronto and not Pakistan, Balochistan. The question I would want to ask you, you know, with the atrocities that we are just witnessing right now, sir, something that the world doesn't quite know about, very well hidden by Pakistan.
Well, the Pakistan military and its civil administration has worked very well in extracting a lot of money from the United States of America, Saudi Arabia, and China. And right now what they've done is that they have sold that province for about, I think, a $40 billion price to let the Chinese bring their highways straight to the Persian Gulf through the port of Gwadar, which they have made into a no-go zone. And the film that you saw is not unusual. The atrocities being committed on the Baloch ever since Pakistan invaded the country of Balochistan in 1948 and occupied it since. This is a regular case. We have tens of thousands of people who have been killed. Their bodies, sometimes the prisoners are just dropped from helicopters. The bodies are abandoned. There are 18,000 missing men and women. Some of these Baloch activists have now taken refuge in Canada and Germany, in Sweden, even in the United States, because the Pakistanis are so well connected, the ISI is so well entrenched, that the foreign countries and the journalists are simply bought off.
But you know, Mr. Fatah, that's the big question. How is it that atrocities as big as this, as deep as this, go completely hidden? There are a lot of people out there who have absolutely no idea on what's going on in Balochistan, while of course the issue of Kashmir, the issue of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, Pakistan's very quick to bring up.
Well, let's look at two major reporters who went there. One was Declan Walsh for The Guardian. He wrote a detailed piece and subsequently was expelled from the country and in fact has now stopped writing about the subcontinent. He was the New York Times Pakistan bureau chief sitting in London. He abandoned that. There are threats against him even where he lives. The other journalist was Carlotta Gal of the New York Times. She was beaten up in the capital of Balochistan. She has abandoned this and has fled and now lives in Tunisia. So the Pakistanis will simply kill the journalists. There are none in Balochistan.
You know, Mr. Fateh, do stay on with us because we have right now Mr. Sher Mohammad Bukti. He's the spokesperson of the Balochistan Republican Party. He's also in exile. He's joining us from Switzerland while Mr. Fateh joins us from Toronto. And reason enough why these gentlemen need to be where they are right now. Mr. Bukti, you know, that's what we were talking about with Mr. Fateh, on how ingrained that this is, how systematically the news of what is going on in Balochistan is hidden from the world. The question, sir, to you is, how is it that one, you know, goes about bringing the issue of Balochistan on the international spotlight? All right, we seem to have lost Mr. Bukti. We're going to try and connect to him as well. He's joining us from Switzerland. Mr. Fateh, would you want to take the question? How does one put the international spotlight on Balochistan?
Look, we just had to take a very desperate measure here in Toronto and before the White House in Washington, D.C. Just a couple of weeks ago, a leader of the Baloch National Movement, a physician by the name of Dr. Manan Baloch, was shot dead in cold blood while he was sleeping in a hut. This man was like one of those barefoot doctors who would go from village to village. And nobody wanted to report it. The only place this news came up was after we burnt a Pakistan flag in downtown Toronto, and we had to do that because no one was listening. Subsequently, we've had a demonstration outside the White House in Washington, D.C., and some Indian journalists have picked up the story. But I can tell you, not a single American mainstream paper, a radio station, or even a British journal is willing to touch this because everyone fears for their life. The Pakistanis will simply assassinate you. You could be I asked a German correspondent sitting in Islamabad, why doesn't she go and report about this? You have the BBC's Lise Doucette come to the Lahore Literature Festival. Right now there are about a dozen Western journalists in Lahore enjoying wine and biryani and, you know, whatever the Pakistanis offer to foreigners, and they will not talk about Balochistan. Literally, we've asked one American-based Egyptian writer who's in Lahore to say something about Balochistan. She was asked to block us all out. So this is a threat to India, and because the port that the Chinese are building is a nuclear submarine base, and it's at the mouth of the Persian Gulf.
All right, well that is the strategic importance of it, but the human tragedy which is engulfing Balochistan is entirely different. Gaurav Sawant, Strategic Affairs Editor, joins us right now. Gaurav, you know, would you just take us through this video?
This is a shocking video that shows how Pakistani security forces kill people in Balochistan in cold blood. As you can very clearly see in these pictures, Pakistani security forces bring some Baloch freedom fighter who's been arrested, and they kill him, shot 8 times in cold blood. And Balochi freedom fighters say this is only symptomatic of a larger malaise. Now there are 9,000 Balochis who are missing, according to the Voice of Balochistan. 9,000 people missing, 35,000, and 9,000 is just in the past couple of years. 35,000 is the figure that they gave out. In 2013, there was a 3,000-kilometer long march that was carried out from Quetta to Islamabad to bring to fore the plight of people of Balochistan and the horror that they are facing at the hands of what they call is occupation of the Pakistan army. Now this situation is only set to become worse in the times to come with this Pakistan-China corridor, the China-Pakistan corridor, the port of Gwadar that is being developed by the Chinese army, and it goes all the way to China, the road, the pipeline, and here they say Balochi resources are being harnessed by the Pakistani state and they are getting absolutely no advantage from this. They want freedom from Pakistani occupation.
All right, Gaurav, stay on with us. Let's once again quickly listen in to this barbaric video that has surfaced. All right, output editor Shiv also joins us right now. Shiv, this is just a glimpse of possibly what is right now Balochistan, and it's worrisome because visuals like this, we haven't seen very much coming out of Balochistan.
Well, this particular video that IndiaToday has gotten access to actually dates back to about 5 months ago in September, and it's only been leaked just now. It's managed to come out. It's gone freshly viral at this point of time. It's made headlines in the West as well. It's among the many videos that have come out from Balochistan in the last few months, this one actually very closely and directly depicts an extrajudicial killing by Pakistani forces of an alleged Balochi activist. Now, the identity of the person being murdered in cold blood in this video is not known, but what you can see in the video makes it absolutely clear that this person has been abducted along with other Balochi activists. They've been bundled into these Pakistani trucks, taken into a deserted area, a desert area in that in Balochistan, and then just murdered in cold blood. 8 shots from an assault rifle, and then mobile photos are taken obviously for propaganda purposes. This is the Baloch rebellion there is seen as terrorism by the Pakistan government at a time when they preach so much about what's happening in Kashmir. They've recently been talking about the Afzal Guru issue as well. Here on India Today, what we've got is a series of videos, and what we're doing now is beginning to put these videos out. There are Baloch activists who have absolutely no access to the media. The Pakistan media does not touch the Baloch issue from the view of the people of Balochistan themselves. In the West, many attempts have been made to access videos of this kind, to tell the stories of the horrors that are happening in Balochistan, but it's extremely difficult. There are many videos, many of them undated, of unidentified people, of mass graves, of extrajudicial killings, but it's very, very difficult for investigators, people in the West, to actually pinpoint where these have happened and who these people really are. In this particular video, it's very rare that you actually see a murder happening on camera. All of this filmed presumably by a Pakistani soldier himself, and it's probably got leaked in some manner. But this video opens the window really to what's happening in Balochistan, and there are many more such videos that India Today will be putting out.
Appreciate you joining us, gentlemen Shiv and Gaurav Sawant. Also Tariq Fateh, thank you for joining us all the way from Toronto. We're going to keep tracking details of that story.